Hi guys, Little Lady here. Right, so what I'm doing today is I'm going to do a stuffed pork tenderloin. It's one of the ones that we got from Costco's. So I've had that defrosting in the fridge and I'm going to wrap that in bacon. We're just going to have it with some nice roast potatoes. So I'll bring you down and I'll show you the ingredients. Right, so there's the pork tenderloin. I've getting it out of the bag that it was in and I've patted it dry a little bit. We'll be taking off that sinew. I have some dry cured sticky bacon there. And for the stuffing, I'm just going to use some ordinary stuffing mix, but I am going to grate in a bit of apple. I'll not use the full packet, I'll probably just use about a quarter of it for this. And like I say, I'm just going to make a few nice roast potatoes. So first thing I want to do is the stuffing, because that'll need to be have some boiling water in it and cool down before we can use it. Right, so I'm just going to pour in, say probably about that much. If it's too much, then you can just eat the rest anyway. Right. Now to pour some boiling water on, because we are going to spread it over the tenderloin, so we don't want it too dry. But I don't want to make it too wet at this stage, because I'm going to grate some apple into it just to make it give it a bit more flavour, and pork and apple always goes together anyway. So I'm going to pop now start grating the apple. Just going to use this, probably only use about a quarter of this apple as well. Just pop that over the top and I'll just grate that in. Makes a noise, so I'll turn you off for now. Right, I've just put about a quarter of an apple in there, and it's had a couple of seconds just to, and I think it's going to be a little bit too dry, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit more water in there. Let's mix it all up nicely. You want it to keep moisture to the pork on the inside as well. So I'm just going to pop that to one side and let that cool down. So now I'm going to deal with this. As you can see on here, I've got all of this. Now that's the fat. Take that off because I don't particularly want that. I'm going to add more fat back with the bacon. But this bit here is the sinew. So all you need to do is get your knife underneath and just pull it along, because all that'll do is seize up when it's cooking, and it'll make it tough when you're trying to cut it through and to eat it. So I'm just going to carry on and take that off. Right, so I've cleaned that up, and as you can see, this end bit, it goes really thin like that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it up and put it in the middle next to the stuffing, all the way down. Might as well, or you could use it for something else. Don't have any plans for it, and as it's been frozen, I like to use the meat virtually straight away once it's defrosted. Don't like to hold it that long. So we'll see how this works out. Keep doing it. Right. That'll do. So I'm just going to move that to one side for now. What I want to do is deal with this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut into here. Open it out. A bit like you would do to butterfly out a chicken breast. And then I want to double back on myself and come in this way. Turn it around a bit easier. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my meat mallet and I'm just going to bash this out a little bit. Right, so I've done that. So I'm just going to move that to one side for the moment. And what I've got is a piece of cling film here. There you go. Spread that out a bit. And then we'll get our bacon. All I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the bacon on. Just 2 bits here. I'm going to do 1 that way. Oops. 1 that way. And I'm just going to continue doing that until I've used all of the bacon up. Another 1. The reason why I do it like this is so you can flatten the bacon out as if you are going to be doing pigs in blankets, but I sometimes find with this bacon it can shrink back, so I do it this way, so the majority of the pork is going to be covered, but then I have enough at the edges there to wrap it round. So I'm just going to continue with this. Right, so that's all done. So what I do is get my pork back, some of the stuffing. You don't want it too thick here. Just spread it all the way down. Right. I think that'll be just about a perfect amount there. Look. Oh, put it away. Now, let's see about these bits. I'm going to dot them in and around. Right, I'm just going to quickly wash my hands. And we'll get some salt and some pepper on there. Depends on how salty your bacon is, but don't forget this is quite a lump of pork. I'm just going to season it from the inside, and the bacon should season it from the outside. I'm going to use my fingers for this. I think I've got a bit more control for the pepper, just with my fingers. There we go. Right, now could be the tricky bit. Nah, not take 2 seconds. I'm just going to turn that over and then tuck it in a little bit and then just turn it over again. Pop that there. And there you have it. Right, now all we're going to do is start to wrap it up. Go one side, then the other, and as you can see, because I've made it longer, fits around there perfectly. No stretching. Under. I know this is boring, but it just means I would have to wash my hands to turn the camera off, to do this again, to wash my hands. Oh. Just keep going. I'm going to wrap this in the cling film and I'm going to pop it into the fridge for probably, I would say, about 20-25 minutes, or however long. You can make it in the morning, keep it in there all day. There we go. The little bits there. Just make sure that all nicely tucked in. Right, so I'm just going to turn that round like that. The cling film on. And then just turn it. Turn that edge. Turn that edge. If you do that, it gets tighter and tighter. Just pull it. And there we go. There's your stuffed pork tenderloin with wrapped in bacon. Like I say, that's going to go into the fridge. Just let it set for a couple of seconds. Quickly wash my hands so I can turn the camera off. And then I'll have a clean up. I'll put the turkeys on to boil and I'll come back when it's time to start cooking this. Right, so that's had its rest. So all I'm going to do, I've got my pan on. I've got about a tablespoon of just ordinary vegetable oil warming up in there. And the first thing we're going to do is crisp off the outside of this bacon. Little beauty. Right. I'm just going to pop it in and then I'll bring you over. Right, so I just have that on a medium heat, just about fits the pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep turning it over and crisping it up until it's crisp all the way around. I've got the oven on, I've got it on fan at 180 and I'm just going to put it through there for about 10-15 minutes after I've done this, just to make sure that it is cooked all the way through. And as you can see here, I've got my potatoes on to boil and they'll go in the twin kasori once they're done. And I'm doing them in the beef fat, the beef dripping that I've got, so they should be nice and crispy as well. And I'll come back and I'll show you this in stages. Right, so that's been on, excuse me, all the way around. But as you can see, there's a lot of little burnt bits here. I was just going to put it straight in the oven like that, but I've decided I'm going to take it out and I'm going to pop it into here. Get this cleaned up. We'll get that in the oven, so I'd say probably about 25-30 minutes now. So I'm just going to get that straight in. And do the roast potatoes, clean everything up because it's splashed everywhere. And we'll see you in about 20-25 minutes. Right, so the pork has had its time. And I'm just bringing it out of the oven now. Whoa. And there she goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that rest for about 10 minutes because that's how long it's left on the roast potatoes. And then we'll come up and we'll dish it up. Right, so there you go. That's had a 10-minute rest. And I've just taken it off and put it. This board's been scrubbed, by the way, disinfected and everything. So I don't want any comments on that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I might actually just turn the board around a little bit like that. And then we'll, I mean, this'll, easily feed, what, 4 people? Oh, look at that. Look how glistening that meat is. Not a bit of pink inside. So I think it's about time that we actually plated up and had a bit of a taste. Right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to pop that bit on there, and I want to get another slice just because I can. I should have sharpened my knife a little bit. I just can't get over how juicy that pork really is. Pop that to one side. Move that over. Sorry about that, my battery died. I didn't even realise it was that low. And here we go. Some lovely crispy roast potatoes. 4 each. And I've also just done a few peas. Oh. But the best part, I would have to say, has got to be, got my glove back on because it's still quite hot. All these juices out of here. They might look dark, they're not burnt, it's literally just caramelization. So there we go, that's my stuffed pork tenderloin wrapped in bacon. There we go, that's the stuffed pork tenderloin wrapped in bacon. There we go, all ready. I'm going to get definitely some of this pork. I mean, you've seen how juicy it was. Cuts like butter, to be perfectly honest. I've got a cut there, but I want to get a bit with all the stuffing and the bacon and everything on it. So, because that's the star of the show, right there. Pork, bacon, stuffing with apple. It might be cheap stuffing, but when you think about it, that tenderloin was about £3.20, maybe about £3 for the bacon, pennies for the stuffing, a bit of apple, most people have got a bit of fruit in their house, a couple of potatoes, and I have done some frozen peas. Cheap meal, if there's 4 years in the house, as long as you like stuffing, that's an absolutely cracking meal. So I'm going to get a bit of the roast potato with some of that juice, because that's what I like to do. I like to dip the roast potatoes and everything in the gravy. That's hot. I could make a gravy with them drippings that's left over. Very much so. But it was all about the pork and how you can make a beautiful, elegant meal for next to nothing. And it was easy. It really was easy. You see us do it from start to finish. Crispy. And a bit of pork. Put some peas on to be healthy, and the roll fell off. But anyway, Thank you once again for watching. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to really enjoy this because it is absolutely gorgeous. Sorry to talk with my mouth full. But thank you for everything. Some of your comments are absolutely amazing. The ones that brings back memories from the rag pudding. It just, that's what I want to do. So thank you so much. Thanks for your likes, just your comments, your hypes. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. See you.